Hey everybody! Hey everybody! Pastor David here, and I'm joined by my daughter Jordan. Can you say hi, Jordan?
Hi.
And she, because we're filming in our house, has graciously let me use her bedroom, right? And so she's saying hi. We're hunkering down at home, actually quarantining, self-quarantining for 14 days as a family, because three of us were in Spain over spring break visiting Shannon's sister, Shannon and the two oldest boys. So we're at home, but Jordan wanted to say hi, and then I'll let you go. All right, sweetie. All right, everybody. Peace to you. Really wanted to come and offer like a midweek encouragement, a midweek word of peace at a time where a lot of us need some more peace. And I've been thinking about gratitude this last week. Gratitude, really, because I think I've become more acutely aware of a lot of the things in my life that I take for granted that this reality has just opened my eyes to. Like, for instance, I'm thankful for a job. I know a lot of people right now are fearing losing a job. Some people have lost their jobs. I'm thankful for a roof over my head and a house to live in that's more than ample for our family. I'm thankful for my family. I know not everybody gets to be with loved ones during this time, and I'm thankful that we get to be together, especially since we weren't able to be together for a little bit. I'm thankful for a full pantry and a fridge with plenty of food. I'm thankful for all the supplies that we have, enough toilet paper. We haven't been hoarding, but we've got enough for a family of six, even though Jordan dropped an entire roll in the toilet yesterday. But we'll be all right. I'm thankful that we're healthy, that I have my health, that so far everybody in our family appears to be doing okay. And there's just a lot to be thankful for right now. And coronavirus, this reality that we're in, is making me more aware of how much God's given me. Um, and it's really, I think, an important thing for us to be thankful, because what I really want to suggest to you guys is that gratitude's actually an antidote for anxiety. Gratitude is an antidote for anxiety. And we have so much anxiety ramping up in our lives right now. So much, right? Think about just what's happened in the last week. Monday, the Surgeon General came on and said, this week is going to get bad. One of our public officials warning us about what's to come. Yesterday, we had our biggest number of new cases of COVID-19 here in the States. Today will probably be an even bigger number. We're seeing some of this curve go way up, and we have fear about that, about our health, about whether or not the hospital is going to be available if there's issues, whether or not we're going to have issues, what this means for our loved ones. We have fear about other things happening in our lives, like anxieties that are building up, like we are trying to work from home for the first time, but struggling to figure that out. We're trying to look after kids, do homeschooling, teach them on a computer and a new Google Classroom and all these things that we're trying to figure out. Some of us have anxiety because we're trying to do both at the same time. Some of us are trying to figure out how two working spouses do it at the same time. Some of us are just feeling cooped up at home. There's just a lot of anxiety happening right now. And that's on top of all the stuff we already got. And what I notice is that, like, it was a day last week where really people started just kind of coming on a little bit unhinged, a little worried. Like, we were worried we were going to go on lockdown, right? Weren't sure what it meant that there was going to be a stay-at-home order, and I got some anxious phone calls, and it's just like this spirit of anxiety was going through the air, spirit of fear. Actually, what Paul says in the New Testament to Timothy, a spirit of fear, and not just fear about like the physical reality of COVID-19, which I'm not meaning to downplay, but like a spiritual like sense of fear that's happening in our lives. Something in the spiritual realm, as the New Testament writers put it, in the heavenly realm. And really the thing that we have to do is learn not only how to live in this space, but also how to combat that anxiety, to combat that fear, to combat the work of evil forces that want to trap us and keep us in it. And to know that Jesus is bigger, and we there's a lot of ways that we remind ourselves of that. There's a lot of ways that we can combat the spirit of anxiety, but one of the most important is gratitude. It really is. And let me share why I think that is. It's a little leap in logic. I've been learning this. I've been thinking about it, trying to understand it. Actually, ever since we did our Anxious for Nothing series in the fall, where we memorized Philippians chapter 4, 5, verses 5 and 6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, with prayer and petition and thanksgiving, there's the gratitude piece, let your requests be made known to God, right? So how did gratitude fit into that? And here's where I think the logic works. Anxiety is grasping for a control we do not have. Gratitude is giving thanks for what we do. Anxiety is a grasping for control we do not have, but gratitude is giving thanks to God for what we do, right? And I think all of us live in this kind of space where there's this balance between structure and spontaneity, between like kind of chaos in our lives and order. And when chaos kind of ramps up, when things feel very anxious and out of control, one of the, I think, really wise impulses, one of my pastoral impulses, is to move more towards structure, to kind of take things and find regularity and consistency. And gratitude can actually anchor us in that consistency and regularity. And there's one passage from the scripture I just wanted to share that really made me think about that these last days. It comes from the book of Daniel. And this is way back. Daniel is in exile in Babylon. That thing that we looked at in the book of Habakkuk, if you were at Redeemer this Sunday, was the leading towards this event. They are now in exile. The Israelites in exile. Daniel is about to go to the lion's den. Actually, there's been like this political machination against him. He's got enemies. He's got the favor of the king, but they're trying to get him in trouble. They made it illegal to pray to Yahweh, and Daniel still decides he's going to do it. And even though there's this plot against him and he knows he's in trouble, what he does, this is right before he goes to the lion's den. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of disorder, a lot of fear in his life. He knows he's probably about to die. This is what it says he does in chapter 6. Now, when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem. 3 times a day he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God. 3 times a day he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to God. So there's a lot of things he could have prayed about in that moment, like for deliverance. He could have prayed a prayer of lament. We talked about that. Like the actually good, appropriate prayers. Maybe some of that was there, but one thing he made sure to do 3 times a day in this moment of anxiety, of fear, is he gave thanks to God. He had gratitude. Why? Because gratitude is giving thanks for what we do have from God. Anxiety is grasping for control of what we do not have. Gratitude grounds us in the goodness and the reality of what God's already given us, and it reminds us of his goodness. It reminds us that he's for us. And so here's what I would suggest you guys do. Create some order in your life these next few weeks. I would suggest praying 3 times a day, just like Daniel did. And in those 3 times, giving thanks for what God has given you. the blessings that you do know in your life. Every morning, just like Daniel got on his knees, get next to your bed, get down on your knees, and spend 5 minutes in prayer. And in those minutes, give thanks. Think, God, what is good today? What's been good? What have you given me? We did a Facebook post saying, what is good? Just to remember, it's that same question. What can I give thanks to God for? Do that when you wake up, right at the beginning of the day. Do that in the evening, at the end of the day, give thanks. And then find another time during the day to just quiet your heart, to stop, maybe to read some scripture passage, but give thanks. Give that order to your life. And y'all, I think the peace that passes all understanding will guard your hearts and minds in Jesus Christ, in the gratitude that we have. Praying that over you guys. I love you, church.